Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. Joining me for Singapore FinTech Festival coverage is Ricardo Correa, head of CBDC at R3, to discuss what CBDC and how it's different than crypto. Ricardo, it's great to meet you virtually. Welcome to Trade Talks.
Thank you, Jill. Thanks for having me.
All right, and for the benefit of myself and the audience, tell us what CBDC is, how it's different from crypto, and how it's relevant in the capital market space.
Sure, yeah. CBDC is, as defined by the BIS, the Bank of International Settlements, is a digital payment instrument denominated in the national unit of account, and it is a direct liability of the central bank, typically issued by the central bank. While CBDCs draw comparisons to cryptocurrencies and stablecoins, given that they're digital, they're relatively new, the core difference is that a CBDC is actually a liability of the central bank or a bearer asset, much like cash. So far we've seen two major types of CBDCs. We see retail CBDC or general purpose CBDC, which is intended to be used by the general public. And then those that would add efficiencies to the current monetary system, the banking system and capital markets, which is wholesale. So while retail CBDC is currently the key focus of research, wholesale CBDCs have been explored in the most depth today, with exchanges, banks, central banks really highlighting the relevance of this innovation to the capital markets.
Ricardo, let me ask you this. Why would you use distributed ledger technology for a CBDC?
It's a great question. You know, we've debated this at length, and still the questions remain. But you know, so far as we're seeing, Jill, DLT enable really the creation of digital assets with real time atomicity, really meaning that the term atomic means that the exchange of an asset or a transaction involving two assets will only really happen with the transfer of both of those being successful, meaning that both have to exchange or neither exchange. So that's the key assets. I think operational efficiency is the other key thing that we see beyond what the existing financial market infrastructures can provide today. 24/7 access, for example, and T0 settlement. Current market infrastructures sometimes require downtime, sometimes have delays in settlement, typically T2s, whereas now with DLT, we can really reduce that kind of T0.
So Ricardo, explain to me, where does R3 fit into this ecosystem when it comes to the CBDC space?
Yeah, it's you know, R3 is an enterprise technology company focused on building core to our platform, and so for us, we've been exploring CBDCs for a really long time. In fact, over the last 5 years, we've explored opportunities such as security settlement in Canada with Project Jasper, cross-border payments and FX with Infineon and Lion Rock, which is Thailand and Hong Kong, and decentralized liquidity savings mechanisms with Project Ubin in Singapore, in fact. And more recently, participating in projects such as the e-krona in Sweden, which has been really interesting and exciting for us to learn, the retail side of CBDC. And just last week, Project Helvetia announced kind of a collaboration between SIX, the SMB, SDX, and R3, demonstrating the settlement of digitized securities with central bank money in Switzerland. I suppose the last thing to mention there is this year we launched a working group. We attracted over 100 of the world's largest kind of organizations and highest value actors in this ecosystem to explore various aspects across technology, policy, and impact. And next year, you'll see us launch R3 CBDC Sandbox to further accelerate that exploration.
And to wrap up here, what will be the significant changes CBDC will bring to the current flows and operations of DVP?
Yeah, so that's a great question. You know, I think there's many different discussions and debates. I think some of the key ones that we're seeing, Jill, widening access to the RTGS system. So central banks being able to allow other parties to access the RTGS system, fintechs and the like, without necessarily increasing their operational load. I think that's absolutely a key opportunity. Reducing risk, so tightening and coupling the trading system with the settlement workflows, meaning that, you know, you've got the settlement systems and the payment systems can now come together in one atomic simple workflow, which is huge. It removes market and counterparty risk and removes the operational concern in the back office. And that leads to further efficiencies in the back office. Because you have a single source of truth on a DLT, you can remove or significantly reduce at least your reconciliation back office efforts across different entities. And finally, just compliance. I think, you know, one of the key things with DLT is that's transparent. So we can provide near real-time reporting and high transparency across the entire flow.
Ricardo, it was a pleasure having you with us. Thanks for joining me on Trade Talks, and thanks for joining us. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter.